Good evening. I hope you all had a great day in the market. Today, the market jumped up and down. However, the S&P ultimately ended basically flat, as it had a gain of a slim 0.06%. The Dow fared worse on the day, as it ended down 0.15%. The Nasdaq easily had the best day out of the three, as it gained 0.33%. Starting off with the job data, jobless claims came in at 1.5 million last week, which was worse than the expected 1.3 million. This weekly total is only 58,000 lower than what occurred last week. The elevated claims numbers persist even as all states have reopened to varying degrees, and nonfarm payrolls grew by 2.5 million in May. Quote, "The 58,000 drop in claims this week is very disappointing, given that the levels still remain so high. The worst single week after the crash of 2008 saw claims at 665,000. It's not clear why claims are still so high. Is it the initial shock of still working its way up through businesses away from the consumer facing jobs lost in the first wave? Or is it businesses which thought they could survive now throwing in the towel? Or both? Either way, these are disappointing numbers and serve to emphasize that our full recovery is going to take a long time," said Chief Economist Ian Shepherdson. Continuing claims, which is defined as those who have been receiving unemployment benefits for at least 2 weeks and which acts as a better gauge of current unemployment levels, trickled lower to 20.5 million, just a small decline of 62,000 compared to the previous week. Extended unemployment benefits that are providing many workers $600 above what they normally would receive are scheduled to run out at the end of July. Congress is working on an extension of the program put into place as the pandemic hit. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell on Wednesday urged Congress to extend the benefits, though he did not recommend anything specific. In our daily coronavirus news update, FDA Commissioner Dr. Scott Gottlieb had some words to say as coronavirus cases are rising in numerous states, more so in the states that had aggressive reopening plans. He said, quote, "The question is, can we keep this from getting out of control? This is a virus that wants to infect a very large portion of the population. They're on the cusp of losing control of those outbreaks in certain parts of those states. Arizona, Houston, Austin, parts of Florida certainly look very concerning right now. These are outbreaks. We're seeing doubling times now falling under 10 days. These are on the cusp of getting out of control. I think these states still have a week or two to take actions to try to get these under control." State officials have put forward a number of reasons for the increase in cases. Some have pointed to increased testing, though in Arizona and some other states, the percent of people tested who test positive has risen, along with the number of confirmed cases. Oil and gas clearly led the sectors, as they gained more than 1.2% on average today. Telecommunications and consumer goods also fared well, as they each gained close to 0.6% on the day. No sector performed terribly, but financials, healthcare, and basic materials had the worst days, losing near 0.4% on average. Our barometer shows the slow day of trading, as gains and losses were relatively weak across the board. Small cap value had the worst day, as it lost a slight 0.27%, while small and mid cap growth stocks led the way up, each gaining 0.25%. The largest gainer in the S&P 500 happened to be Viacom CBS, which was one of the biggest losers on Tuesday. Today, they gained 5.15% due to ad trends looking better than what was expected. Viacom CBS is still down more than 50% on the year. The second largest move upwards came from HollyFrontier Corp., which is a petroleum refiner and distributor. Today, they gained slightly more than 5% as oil prices climbed today due to major producers announcing at an OPEC meeting that they plan to make up for failing to meet their production cut targets last month. The stock that lost the most value today was Biogen, which is a biotechnology company. Today, shares of Biogen fell 7.52% on the back of news stating that a West Virginia judge found that drug maker Mylan had demonstrated that Biogen's patent for their multiple sclerosis drug, Tezspire, is invalid due to, quote, "a lack of written description." The other loser today was Ross Stores, which is a budget clothing retailer. Today, shares of Ross fell 4.45%, but there seems to be no news to back up the sell-off. Getting into earnings, we start off with Kroger, ticker symbol KR, which is a large American grocery retailer. Today's earnings were impressive and came in above analyst estimates on both EPS and revenue. Non-GAAP EPS beat estimates by 8 cents, as they came into the quarter with a gain of $1.22 per share. Revenue beat estimates by $630 million, as Kroger posted quarterly revenue of $41.55 billion. This represented revenue growth of 11.5% compared to a year ago. Kroger also announced that it expects to exceed its last outlook, which was shared in its last business update. Shares of Kroger were up during pre-market, but ultimately ended the day down 3.02%. Next up, we have Commercial Metals Company, ticker symbol CMC, which is a steel and metals manufacturer. CMC also had impressive earnings, as they also reported a double beat. Non-GAAP EPS came in at 59 cents per share, which beat estimates by a large 28 cents. Revenue beat by a small $90 million after they posted quarterly revenue of $1.34 billion. This represented a decline in revenue of 16.8% on a year-over-year basis. Quote, "We expect construction and infrastructure activity to remain resilient during our fiscal fourth quarter. Our finished product volumes are supported by strong fabrication backlogs, which stood near record high levels at May 31st, according to CEO Barbara Smith. Investors liked the news of this and sent shares up 5.61% today. Lastly, we have Smith & Wesson Brands, ticker symbol SWBI, which is a manufacturer of firearms, ammunition, and restraints. Today's earnings were strong, as it posted a double beat and strong revenue growth. Non-GAAP EPS came in at 57 cents per share, which beat estimates by 16 cents. Revenue beat estimates by $14.01 million, as they posted quarterly revenue of $233.64 million. This represented revenue growth of 33% compared to the same quarter last year. Shares were strong before their earnings release, as they rose 3.31%. However, currently shares are taking a slight dip after hours. That is all that I have for you tonight. I wish you have a fantastic evening, and I'll see you all again tomorrow.